Hello. Good to see you both. Good to see you. Hi. This isn't really a response to or a question in response to what you just said. It was a question that came up before you started talking about that, Sat Shree. It's in regards to confusion as a compensating structure, as a block, um, and how to work with it and be with it. Specifically for me, it was like a paralyzing, and it still comes up at times. This kind of paralysis, and I think analysis, and then not making decisions, and just having this swirling mind that doesn't move. And I'm curious if you could go into the deeper meaning of its function. I think it's a protection of some sort.
Okay, very good, Jolene. I think it's getting right to the sense of a collective disorder is too many choices. And then it looks like what we have to choose is something we prefer. And so we want to make sure it's the right choice. So the idea here is that the ego is in confusion because of mixed motives arising into the mental plane that is looking to get the right answer, which typically is shaped by our own self-interests, to protect ourselves, to get what we want. Foundation of ego, foundation of the whole structure of mind, to survive, to not be diminished, to avoid diminishment, to survive, to not be overtaken, to not be abandoned, to whatever may be the story that's in the vital nature or lined up in the body. Because for most of us, the mind is the piece that's above the water of all the rest of us. It has been in our human life the one light that can lead us. It has authority because of that. And it is a place where we, through our education, have disciplined and trained so that our mind becomes the definer of what to do or not to. But it ignores behind the more deeper subconscious emotional embodied trauma structures, adaptations, strategies, decisions that are not available to the mind readily. So what ends up is like we're an iceberg being led by the one piece that's above water. The rest of us is being dragged along slowly in its own way, where the mind is trying to make sense of it. It's also looking from the world, believing that it has a say on the direction it's going. But the mind has no more say over the direction of where we're going than the tip of an iceberg has over the rest of the iceberg. It is not the final purveyor of truth. It is the rest of the iceberg. So when confusion arises, there is an indication that you're using your mind as the decider, determining direction. And it did. It served you in your life. You survived. But of course, it's also the place where all mental illness exists, where all irresolvable, endless repeating conflicts exist. So we have to find another way of knowing. Because confusion is based from the awareness knowing, the mental knowing, the intellect knowing. It has to access a deeper, more embodied part of knowing. So there is a thing in us that can know in our heart, in our gut, and in our body. Learning to test any questions around, like, let's say, confusion. One thing about confusion is behind it is the question, what is right? What serves? What doesn't? So there will be the fear of doing it wrong, and there'll be the desire to do it right. So up here, there's a real duality. But down here, there's something that resonates. Yes or no? True or untrue? It's a part that calls forth a contraction or an expansion, a relaxation or a contraction. It depends what part of the body. So if you look at something coming forward, what should I do? That's a valid question. How should I live? That's the basis. Then you have to include the other parts of you. And then in the sincerity of that inquiry, it will speak. And it'll be a recognition. Initially, it's a recognition. Recognition isn't clarity. Recognition is a response that says something like yes. Then the recognition, if you stay with the recognition, the revelation of the yes will start revealing itself. It'll start coming to the mind. The revelation of what it is you've recognized. Oh, that's why I need to do this will come up. And at some point, the mind will join in and it will become a realization. And from realization, you can act. So we have to tap into the deeper parts of our iceberg. We have to go into the parts of ourselves. Is this really an important choice? Is this really matter? Or is this a habit? Because confusion is one way of keeping yourself protected. It's one way of avoiding taking a chance or risking. I can't choose because I don't know. I have to have it figured out before I do it. It's a perfection design. I can't do it unless it's perfect. Yeah. This unwillingness to go and be wrong, to do it wrong, to be ignorant, to be seen as ignorant, whatever that may be, are behind all of this. When you access that foundational parts of yourself, you'll find this relaxation brings a grounding into your body. The more you ground yourself into your body, which may be a grind to do so, but ground yourself into your body, the more confusion disappears as an issue. Okay. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you both.
I like that, grind your way into the body.
Yeah.